Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. Today I will show you how I painted this beautiful but yet quite simple seascape, and I hope you will like this video, maybe try this one. So let's get started. I started off with making my sketch, and for the sketch I drew only the horizon line, which is somewhere just a little bit underneath the middle of my paper, and then drew in the lines where the waves are gonna be, and also the line for the beach. After that, I pre-wetted the entire paper, and I do want it to be wet the same, so I've just tried not to make any puddles on the paper, and then used some Azure to paint in the top of my sky. Sky I was painting in a graded wash, just the darkest inner upper part, and going towards the middle, towards the horizon line, I painted it lighter. Also with that Azure, I painted in some waves. On the lines that I drew earlier for the waves, I added a little bit more of Azure, and also in some other parts of the sea. Then I took a little bit of cadmium yellow medium and mix it in with cadmium red light to get that orangey color, and painted in the part where the horizon line is, from the horizon line upwards into the sky, into the blue I painted earlier. I added a little bit of that mix into my sea, and just in between those lines that I painted earlier for the waves. Also, I've added a little bit of Madre Lake red light into my Azure to get the violet color, and painted in the horizon line just a little bit above the horizon line. I've added it also in a couple of places here and there into my waves, just to make some variations in the sea. After the paint completely dried, I'm using a smaller flat brush to pick up the paint from the sky here and there, just to make an impression that there are some trails maybe from the airplane, maybe some distant clouds. So just here and there picking up the paint and creating those white lines in the sky. When finished with that, I'm again pre-wetting the part where my sea is, and then painting it again with Azure, adding here and there just a slight wash of the Azure, and nearest to also the line where my beach is going to start. All the materials I'm using for this painting are listed down in the description box, so go ahead and check it out. Also, you can find their links for my affiliate links for Amazon, and if you're in process of purchasing some art supplies, check those out. And if you're interested, well, if you buy anything using my links, I will get a small commission, and of course be very grateful to you. Then I'm using again mix of that cadmium yellow medium and cadmium red light to paint in the part beneath the waves. And as you could have seen, I just made angled strokes to mimic the moving of the waves. And again, when the paint completely dried, I'm using some indigo to paint in the waves, and this time for the waves I did not pre-wet the paper. I'm painting wet on dry and using a smaller round brush that has somewhat smaller tip so I can do the smaller, thinner lines for the waves. And immediately, as you can see, those waves are just starting to appear on our paper. And then I just smudged it a little bit just underneath the line, using just a clean water in my brush, and then adding a lower line that I also drew on my sketch, and just connecting those lines with some vertical lines in between. And as you can see, I'm just barely touching the paper with my brush, just painting these tiny thin little lines. And after that I moved on to a script brush, liner brush. I do love that brush for thin lines, and I just, for some reason, I'm just so used to that brush, and I just love it the most. I think it's so versatile. You know, who would have said to one small liner brush, script brush, that it's actually so versatile, and I use it for so many things. So I've been asked a couple of times about detail brushes, but you know, to be honest, I would rather get a good liner brush, script brush, than a detail brush. Well, at least that is my opinion. You know, I think this brush is so versatile, and you can paint in a lot of things with it, even though it looks so tiny and it looks like there is no water or paint in it. You have to go back to your palette a lot, but you know, I love it. I just simply love it. So as you can see, I'm just also dry brushing. I did not pre-wet the paper, and adding those vertical lines, angled lines, to mimic the waves. And I'm just using the tip of my brush and again a little side of my brush to paint in those dry brush strokes. Also adding some waves in the distance, some thinner waves. And I do love the effect that I get from dry brushing into my waves, and I did not, this time, as you could have seen, I did not really use any masking tape for these waves. I think the effect is just perfect with that light blue color. Just it looks like the sky, the reflection from the sky is just shining in those waves. And just again adding a little bit of those lines, dry brush strokes, to mimic some waves and movement of the sea. For the beach, I am using burnt sienna, and also I will add a little bit of sepia into it. With white gel pen, I'm just drawing some lines from I guess those are the lines from some maybe aeroplane, and you can of course do that also with the white gouache. You don't need a white gel pen, but I just thought that was just fun to draw that, so I just added it there. And also now with a light wash of cadmium red light and cadmium yellow medium, I'm adding it underneath the waves, just again to make it a little bit more vibrant and to stand out a little bit more. Afterwards, I pre-wetted the part just above my horizon line and again added that cadmium red light mixed with cadmium yellow medium, because I did wanted that part to be a little bit more vibrant and to shine a little bit more. So I've added it, and I've added it wet on wet, also pre-wetted, because I didn't want any harsh lines, but I just wanted to blend into my sky. And then I'm adding a little bit of white gouache just in a lower part, because I did want to make some distinction and just to make it slightly look like that wave is just breaking. And then with a neutral black, I'm painting in some land, maybe some dock in the distance. This time I'm using a detail brush just to show you that it can be actually done also with a detail brush. I don't have anything against detail brushes. And I'm adding some darker parts again into my waves just to make it slightly a little bit more darker, because now when I added that white gouache, that wave became too light for me, and it really didn't look like it is in a shadow from the sky, from the sun. So I've added a little bit of indigo into that wave again. And I also am adding a couple of details here and there with white gouache, with those washes. I just wanted to, when the paint is drying, it is also becoming a little bit lighter, and I do want it to stay quite vibrant. And with that, I'll be finishing off this painting and of course this video. Thank you guys a lot for watching and for all your support. I hope you liked it. See, it's not really that difficult, quite simple and quite easy. And well, if you like this video, please hit the like button, share it, comment, and well, I always like to hear what you like, what you didn't like, maybe give me some suggestions. And well, without further ado, if you haven't still, please subscribe to my channel. It would really mean a lot to me. I hope I'll see you next time. Bye!